This is your Mining Disrupt News Surge for Monday, November 25th, 2024. Everything that you see here is for entertainment and education purposes only. Nothing that I say should be taken as financial advice. Please do your own due diligence when it comes to investing your money. In just about 5 months, the Mining Disrupt Expo heads to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Get your tickets. Scan that QR code right down there. Get those tickets. This is going to be a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I've said this before, and I'm not a Dennis Porter levels of hype man, but if you go to the Mining Disrupt Expo, there's a really good chance you can meet the man, talk to him, and get possibly some insights into what is happening around the U.S. There are other people that handle the nation-state adoption, but Dennis is laser-focused on the U.S., on the state level, getting the U.S. to get that strategic Bitcoin reserve, getting states like Pennsylvania to get their own strategic Bitcoin reserve. That is where it all begins. That is what is going to change this entire game in a big, big way. And speaking of changing the game in a very big way, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently looking at a Bitcoin price of $98,146. We're just a paltry $2,000, not even, just shy of $2,000 away from that historic USD price of $100,000. United States greenback dollar bills for one whole Bitcoin. That means that in the not so distant future, that number of 1,019 is gonna drop under 1,000 sats per dollar. It is going to be a bittersweet day for me. For anybody that likes to stack, it's gonna be tough, but it'll also be rewarding. The upcoming difficulty adjustment is going to be an upwards shift of 4% because the blocks are coming in pretty dang fast right now. Now, typically I read you a tweet at this point, but this one is a clip, so I have to cue it up a little bit. There's been a lot of talk about MSTR, Saylor, what's going on over there. And there have been some people that have talked about, considered, or even I've seen people are actually doing it, selling their Bitcoin to buy shares of MSTR with the hopes, in some cases, of buying more Bitcoin down the road when they sell out at MSTR. I don't know if they've looked at all the tax implications to that, so I'm going to leave it to the man himself, Bitcoin Chad Michael Saylor. What does he say on this?
The truth is, I wouldn't recommend Bitcoin over my own stock. I would recommend it over anybody else's stock. It's Bitcoin.
If it wasn't clear, Michael Saylor is explicitly saying that he would recommend Bitcoin over pretty much anything else, including his own stock. Tuesday. Okay, this is another one that I've got to queue up because this one was one of those deep dives that I found. And it is extremely important that you listen to what is said here by Senator Cynthia Lummis. Take a listen to what she says about Michael Saylor.
Michael Saylor is instrumental in fleshing out deep understandings of Bitcoin and is so significant in educating members of Congress about Bitcoin in a way that is both bipartisan and takes a deep dive. So I want to thank Michael Saylor for all of his help in helping inform and educate the Congress of the United States and other policymakers.
A little more context for what you just heard. That was a space hosted by Van Eck, and it was titled Bitcoin as a National and Corporate Asset with Senator Lummis and Saylor. And she is taking off. She's got to go take a meeting or something, and she's introducing Saylor. And in case you didn't hear that, this is not something that Saylor has talked about to my knowledge. She explicitly thanks him for helping inform members of Congress. Saylor is talking to policymakers about Bitcoin. And Saylor has made it abundantly clear that he has never been more bullish on Bitcoin. Do you see what is happening here? Wednesday. This has got to be my favorite carrot in the entire Bitcoin space, truly. Root over here with his chart. This is what happened in Q4 of this year. Now take a look at what we are heading into. Holy moly. Thursday. Here's a clip with Preston Pish talking to Marty Bent, and basically the core of this is this tweet right here. I think by the end of 2025, it's going to be gangbusters. I think that the last cycle had a lot of shenanigans. I think the last cycle had a lot of government shenanigans. And on that very note, the head shenanigan clown man himself, Gary Gensler, is leaving the agency on the day of the inauguration. As Trump comes in, Gensler is heading on out. And to cap that all off, here is Joe Burnett saying, "Let me get this straight. Bitcoin is almost $100,000 per coin. No S&P 500 companies have adopted it as their primary treasury reserve asset. No major countries have adopted it as their primary treasury reserve asset. And a majority of people in the world still have less than 1% allocation. You cannot comprehend how high this will go. Nobody is ready." Friday. The Bitcoin specialist here says, "It's exceptionally rare to have a deep, profound understanding of Bitcoin. The system that was built around us was designed to be cruel and keep us enslaved to our masters. They have fudded this thing for a decade. Bitcoin is invisible to most, even though it is the only way out." Saturday. Bold Bitcoin here posting this chart. I love this chart. Saying that only just over 1 million addresses have more than one Bitcoin. And to round things out for the week, here's VJ Boyapati saying, "I stand by this prediction I made 5 years ago. The financialization of Bitcoin has begun, and the true opportunity is to build a vertical financial stack on top of Bitcoin." That VJ Boyapati tweet really bookends this entire week exceptionally well, because you've got Saylor on the one hand saying he does, yes, recommend Bitcoin over anything else, including his own stock. Then you've got this tweet here with VJ Boyapati rounding the week out saying that the financialization of Bitcoin has begun and the true opportunity is to build a vertical financial stack on top of Bitcoin. What MicroStrategy is doing right now is but one option. They are serving a particular market, and that is a market that is inaccessible. It is truly esoteric, smoke and mirrors to the vast majority of people. But what you are going to see, mark my words, is companies adopting Bitcoin as some part of their treasury reserve asset and then utilizing that as collateral to expand their business, doing things that they never would have been able to do. Building more branches, hiring more people, funding research and development for things that you and I definitely can take part of. I have no idea what the world built on a Bitcoin standard is going to look like. But if what MSTR is doing for Wall Street is any indication, we are in for an exceptionally bright future. I'll see you next week.